Hello and welcome to Illuminations with Tina and Fee, for you who desires a life of abundance. It is the guest episode today for belonging and connection, and therefore it's just Tina here today and not Fee, but with me I have got the lovely Becky Booth. And Becky is a rapid transformational therapy practitioner and a multi-talented woman, and she might tell you a little bit about that. But I'll just allow myself to welcome Becky to the program. Hi, Becky.
Hi, Tina. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Well,
it's really exciting.
I know it's exciting for me too, and I'm so grateful that you are here.
Thank you.
So that was a very short intro of you. Do you want to add anything else about?
Sure. I've had a busy life. I used to be a nurse, and before that I painted and drawed. But I'm here today because we're talking about belonging and being connected, and my issues have been not belonging and feeling completely disconnected. In fact, very good at disconnecting myself from people. And the history of this goes back to when I was adopted. As a baby, I was taken away from my birth mother. And the issues are that as a baby, a small newborn, you feel that you are part of that mother, that is part of you, so that the self is split. And you don't recover from that. You take that in as a psychological damp wound, if you like. And that goes on all through your life. Now, I didn't understand any of this as a baby and couldn't express it. And an adopted baby grieves for her mother. And the adopted mother obviously doesn't know this and feels rejected. And so there's obviously a thing that goes on in that relationship all through their childhood and life. So that affects my ability to relate to people. It affects my ability to really feel connected with friends. It's also affected career and long-term relationships in a big way. So, for example, I never kept my school friends. I was always in the group, the dropouts, if you like, because I never felt good enough and I didn't fit in, and and then I rebelled as a teenager and had horrendous boyfriend relationships because I was desperate for love and desperate for intimate relationships, but didn't know how to make them and never felt connected. And then you have that paradox of me actually pushing people away, which is bizarre, but that's exactly what I do. I'll shut myself off. I won't phone people up, and then I'm thinking they haven't called. It's crazy. And then through careers, I never felt good enough. So as a nurse, I was actually promoted to deputy matron in a nursing home. I loved my job, but I never felt I deserved that promotion. I thought it was just because we had two matrons working together and they both left. So they needed somebody in charge while they found a new matron. So I thought it was just by default, by accident, that I was put into that position. So I never kept the job. I moved on and did something else, which failed. But that's because I had a child, so I couldn't keep my business going.
Okay, so there's something about, so there's a early childhood pattern that's put in place when you're separated from your birth mother.
Yeah. And
then it's kind of just living into that pattern of is it rejection, of not being good enough to be kept?
Absolutely. There's a big fear of rejection, which I've managed to actually overcome quite well so far. It's still work in progress, but I think I'm doing pretty well. There is that, and this whole thing of not feeling, even if somebody tells you they love you, you don't feel it. You don't know how to feel it. It's really weird. If my adopted parents, I love them, but if they died tomorrow, I'd be like, oh, it's really strange. That's really hard to explain to somebody. I would miss them, but I wouldn't feel heartbroken. I felt heartbroken when I got divorced, because I had all this expectation and all sorts of stuff going on there. I was pregnant as well, so that was different. So yeah, I felt more connected to my husband then, even, it's weird.
Yeah, but that's interesting as well, because then you said that your adopted mother felt rejected. So then
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if that's so, but that is a common thread with other adopted people, that they feel that they're, because they're obviously grieving that they haven't had their own biological child, but they don't necessarily appreciate that either, because it's deep. Yeah.
Okay. So there's several patterns being played out, and throughout your life, and it becomes the pattern of not good enough, fear of rejection, and even if you receive love, there's some kind of inner child who cannot accept that that's the truth, and therefore you push it away, you push friends away, you don't phone them, and then you think, why haven't they called me?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's just playing out the pattern over and over.
And it'll go a cycle, yes, yeah. But I'm certainly doing a lot better with different ways of managing this now. I'm aware of it because I've joined groups that are interested in the same things I'm interested in, and I feel I belong, whether it's the rapid transformational therapy graduates or a motorcycle group that I used to belong to, where I really felt I fitted in, and that's a real good way of finding those connections, because you always go to the same groups and do the same things, and it becomes a nice little routine. Also, that fear of rejection I'm really overcoming with hypnotherapy and moving out of my familiar comfort zone. So I'm doing things that are new for me, and I'm really enjoying the challenge. And I remember to say it's a challenge and not scary. Yeah. So that's quite important, to change those words in your head.
Yeah.
And really embrace life and do more things rather than becoming a little hermit, which is so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I guess the key is to understand the pattern. And what was it that happened in your life that you then went, I'm playing out a pattern that's been there from babyhood?
It's been a slow self-awareness. So this pattern changing course I did when my divorce fell apart, because I was in an emotional and financially abusive relationship. I didn't know this until the midwife said, that's abuse. It was like, is it? And then I had a long thought, like, oh my God, this can't go on, this has to stop. So I kicked him out. And found out he was seeing someone half my age, but that's men sometimes. Sometimes, in my experience. And so I did that course, and that helped me become aware of an awful lot of cycles and habits that we do on ourselves. And then I looked for help for myself. So that's where I came to rapid transformational therapy through Marissa Peer's Uncompromised Life, if you've heard of that, on Mindvalley. And it was I opened my eyes to what was going on, and was absolutely fascinating, and has really helped me in lots and lots of layers, like an onion, peeled off, and there's still work to go. So there's that. What else have I done? No, that's really how it's worked. And then I've been reading some more books about my own particular situation, such as a book called The Primal Wound by Nancy Verrier, which really explains the theory of what babies go through when they're adopted and how to manage it as well. So lots of reading.
So what would your recommendation be, and in this case specifically then for adopted people who have been adopted in childhood, in terms of if they kind of don't have this sense of belonging anywhere, what's the first couple of steps for them then?
Join groups of the same people, find other groups of adopted people, and talk about your feelings or lack of feelings or whatever it is, because you'll find other people to connect to who've had exactly the same experiences. And that's one thing that certainly is an eye-opener. And then seeking some kind of therapy, whether it is rapid transformational therapy, of course I'm going to say that, but there are others as well, to really help that inner child be loved and appreciated, and feel lovable.
And enough.
Yes, and enough, absolutely. When I first did that part of the therapy, the upgrading the child, I mean, I just cried so much. It was amazing. It really released so much stuff.
And we might say to the viewer, upgrading the child is just a process where you make the child feel wanted and appreciated. Would that be a very simple way of explaining it?
It's being loving to yourself.
Yes.
And that is
becoming the parent yourself.
That's it, the parent that you didn't have or wasn't good enough.
Exactly.
It works.
So is there anything else you wanted to say before we kind of wrap up today that you think is really important to lift in terms of, because Vi and I have talked a lot about how belonging is actually a predictor of a long life. people who belong and have social connections live longer, and it's a greater predictor for a long life than smoking, addiction, flu vaccines, lots of things. So it's up there.
For me, it's joining groups.
Joining groups, yeah.
Yeah. And connecting, go out, join groups, go out and be out. Don't just do it online, but, you know, find people to meet up. There's meet up online and great connections you can find there. Just anything, yoga or whatever it is you fancy. Yeah, do something you like.
Good.
Art, painting, that's always good.
Yeah, just connections. And then you'll find the belonging through there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Becky, sorry, because I know you as Rebecca from the group, but Becky. What was I going to say? I lost my thread now because I said the wrong name.
We're wrapping up.
We are wrapping up. Thank you for telling your story, and I know it's a personal story, and I know that personal story has led to your profession now with rapid transformational therapy, where you're helping other people. So that's beautiful story. So thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for you viewers who watched today. Please share this around if you know that somebody might benefit from this conversation as well. And as usual, please subscribe, leave comments, let us know what you think. And we will see you next time, which is a new month and a new theme. And until then, take care. Bye now.
Bye.